Welcome, Wapham crew, new listeners, new watchers or peepers. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a Rocky Mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, August 27th, Monday, August 28th, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, afternoon, and good evening to you, and welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. I'm just looking over here on Twitter. So if you're watching live right now, you may be watching us on YouTube under We Are Paradox Media, Twitch, as well as Twitter under me. So I believe, so you can find me at TessaTNT under Twitter. I'm trying this out on Twitter instead of Facebook because we don't really have a lot of people going over to our Facebook page and checking it out. And just the other night, Mr. Elon Musk was saying if you have a podcast, then put it over here on Twitter, which is now called X, and you'll get a lot of followers. So I'm just testing it out, seeing is that actually true? Is there going to be more followers or viewers on Twitter or X, as it's now called, more than Facebook? So I was doing it on Facebook on my own page, but it's kind of creepy, like giving out that information to people I don't know, because there are stalkers out there, but you never know. Maybe this could work. So we'll see how it goes. I'm so glad you can join me this evening. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend so far. We've been getting a little rain off and on, and so it's a bit hot and humid here in the hall. And my earrings keep doing it. I decided to wear this dress here that I got in honor of those in Lahaina and just the struggles they're going through. I really feel bad for them. And I hope things, start to turn around and all these different conspiracies and such that we've been hearing won't be happening like a 15-minute, city. And, I mentioned last night that Oprah Winfrey, I wrote this down on Tumblr, She's been buying up property like a trending bestseller. Oprah has a 520-acre plot for 3.89 million she purchased in 2023, then another 330 acres for 2.47 million, not to mention the two 10-acre patches for 100,000. The fire burns nearby but leaves the rest of her acreage like basically unscathed. This also happened with land around her Montecito home. Everything burned but her property, and she bought acreage then and again after mudslides decimated the rest of that. So there's decimation, acquisitions, and the timing is just really unprecedented. It's pretty insane. So if you're listening live right now, you may be listening to us on KPNL Radio, which you can find on KPNL Radio at kpnl-bb.com. You may also listen to us live on eTalk Radio, which you can find on etalk.tv/radio. Want to listen to us in your free time, whether you're working it, or working out, you can find us under We Are Paradox Media at Spreaker, Twitter. There's now X, and that's under, like I said, at TessaTNT. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Facebook, Castbox, Tumblr, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podcast Chaser, Podvine, Podbean, Owltail.com, GeoCern, VLC, Amazon Music, and Audible Audio. Tonight I have a treat for all my freaky-dicky friends out there. Tonight, we're going to do story time with me, TessaTNT. So, generally, we'd be doing our book, The World's 100 Greatest Mysteries, Strange Secrets of the Past Revealed. We'd be doing that for the first 2 hours, and then we'd be going over to Reddit and doing ghost stories there, but the ghost stories over there have been a little few and far between. So, in lieu of that, I've decided to do the third hour with some creepy, freaky-dicky videos. And this over here on X seems to be topping in and out, so I don't know what's going on there. It works out. I have it up and running on my phone now, so because instead of being let's pull this up and then I lost my place. Left turn, the devil's triangle. I think I read the one version. Remember, type for the hammer. First of the road diamond. Start there. Actually, I think we were on the Tunguska explosion. Bavaria's Mad King. I'm not sure where exactly we are here, but I think start on Bavaria's Mad King and go from there. Tunguska explosion is kind of tempting me. Man, I wish I wouldn't have pulled that out and then freaking closed the book on myself. Jeez, oh Pete. Remember reading that? Nostradamus. So let's start there. You guys ready? Anybody in here yet? In an age when soothsayers and witches were routinely burned at the stake, it is somewhat amazing that a figure with a reputation of Michael de Nostradam survived to become one of the most famous and beloved men in all of Europe. Part prophet and part witch doctor, the French-born scholar credited with saving thousands of lives during outbreaks of bubonic plague during the 16th century, achieved almost saint-like status among the masses, and went on to become a close consort to queens and kings throughout Europe. Some saw this uncanny ability to heal and foretell future events as the work of the devil. Others, however, regarded his strange powers as a special gift and sought to take advantage of it. Nostradamus, as he is better known, did not start out on such a favorable footing. Born in Saint Remy, France, on December 14th, 1503, he encountered considerable prejudice early on because of his Jewish ancestry. Avignon is where he learned philosophy, classical literature, history, medicine, and grammar. His special interests were herbal and folk medicine and astrology, then generally regarded as a legitimate science. He also published almanacs, which were popular items in the 16th century Europe. Nostradamus's almanacs became bestsellers filled with the usual predictions about weather and crop conditions, but also containing secret prophecy that made them widely and wildly popular throughout France and much of Europe. When the plague struck France in early 16th century, he stopped publishing almanacs and went to work treating patients by administering his special concoction, rose pills. Hey, Robert, which consisted of ground rose petals, sawdust, iris, cloves, calamus, and lignalos. He refused to bleed his patients, the customary treatment for everything from minor colds to Black Death. I don't know if you guys know, but I just recently learned some crazy things about past presidential deaths, and poor George Washington was actually bled to death by his doctors. If you're sick, you need a good bleeding. So they drained more than half his blood. And he ended up dying from that, as opposed to whatever illness or ailment he had at the time. It was pretty bad. So I'm glad Nostradamus did not go for that. So he refused to bleed his patients, the customary treatment for everything from minor colds to Black Death. Did you also know he had false teeth made out of wood? Not Nostradamus, but George Washington. And that's kind of weird. In 1537, plague struck the city of Agen, where the famed physician, poet, philosopher, and publisher lived with his wife and 2 children. Although he managed to save hundreds of lives, his own family perished in the epidemic. Devastated, the great healer spent the next 6 years wandering Europe, questioning his abilities and the meaning of life. It was during this period of dark torment that Nostradamus became aware of another special gift, the power of prophecy. Retreating to his study in the dead of night, he would consult magic mirrors, divining rods, a brass bowl, and other magical instruments to conjure up visions of future events. In 1550, he published his first almanac of prophecies. The prophecies, written in a curious blend of French, Greek, Latin, and Italian, made Nostradamus a household name in Europe. Nearly 1,000 prophetic verses were written, each containing 4 lines or quatrains. These were arranged in 10 books called centuries. I know I keep wanting to say Nostradamus. But yeah, Nostradamus. He's prophesied so many different things. So the centuries contain prophecies covering nearly the next 2,250 years until the year 3797. Are you on Twitch, Robert? Are you a Twitcher? Are you twitching right now? Oh, it's so hot in this hot box. I've been wearing this dress because it's nice and cool and everything, but with the crack. And I keep losing myself over on X. Used to be Twitter. Check your connection to resume the broadcast. I'm going to stop really quick and make sure Floyd's not on. World of Tanks. He really loves that game. I'm going to ask Vern to make sure he's not there. Get off. Get off of my internet. Can you please make sure that Floyd is off World of Tanks? Hopefully that works. I don't know what else to do. I do have a thing coming that's supposed to make the internet a bit better as far as towers. Like, it was really good earlier, but now, like I said, it's on and off here in the hot box. I swear to God, like, I'm even spitting down my back. Oh, shnikes. Anywho's, Nostradamus did not reveal how he arrived at his prophecy. The best guess is that he wrote primarily by inspiration. That is, he wrote down whatever verses came to him while working alone in his study late at night. Like most prophetic writings, Nostradamus' centuries are couched in obscure, archaic, almost unfathomable riddles, puns, anagrams, and epigrams. His most famous early prophecy, contained in stanza 35 of the Century 1, apparently concerned King Henry II, though the king's name is never stated. The young lion will overcome the old one. On the field of battle in a single combat, he will put out his eyes in a cage of gold. 2 fleets won, then to die a cruel death. On July 1st, 559, English King Henry was riding in a tournament against young Gabriel de Lorges, Comte de Montgomery, captain of the Scottish Guard. The lances of the two riders met and splintered. Montgomery dropped his shaft a second too late, and a jagged point pierced the king's gleaming gold visor and entered his left eye, killing him. That's pretty nasty. Other quatrains predicted the coming of 3 antichrists. Some scholars have detected references to Napoleon, Hitler, and a third harmful world leader, not yet identified. The verse also has been said to refer to the overthrow of the Shah of Iran and the rise of Saddam Hussein of Iraq. Some contemporaries saw Nostradamus' prophecies as a curse and burned him in effigy. What? The Catholic Church also took a dim view of the prophecies, especially when they turned out to be bad, and threatened to burn him. Of course the Catholic Church doesn't like it. They hide so many things from us. But I'm excited at the notion that they are going to retranscribe the Bible. That could be good, that could be bad, but there's so many things that are left out or omitted. And so many things added due to the will of man. So hopefully they come back with a really good rendition of it, because I'd like to see that. One of the prophet's most powerful fans was Queen Catherine de' Medici, who not only protected him from enemies, but also required regular forecasts of her children's future. Nostradamus was said to have conjured up an angel who showed Catherine a bright and promising future for her children by looking, mirror, mirror on the wall. Prophet fell ill in mid-1556. On July 1st, he told friends gathered at his bedside, "You will not find me alive at sunrise." True to form, he died that night. In his will, Nostradamus expressed the curious wish to be buried standing upright, supposedly, so that boorish people would not step on his body. His body was placed within the walls of the church of Cordeliers of Ceylon. The Latin inscription on his tomb reads, "Here rest the bones of the illustrious Michael Nostradamus, alone of all mortals judged worthy to record with his near divine pen, under the influence of stars, the future events of the entire world." Death of the Wonderkind. He was the wonderkind of his age, a brilliant, brooding child, a genius whose dazzling symphonic and operatic compositions made him an international star long before he was old enough to shave. Yet, when Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart died shortly before Christmas in 1791 at the age of 35, the musical master of the classical era, the child prodigy, who had composed his first symphony at age 4, was unceremoniously dumped into an unmarked pauper's grave and buried. Pretty sad. 4 years after his death, rumors swirled through the old capitals of Europe that Mozart had been murdered. Rumors had been fed by the ravings of Antonio Salieri, a mediocre rival who actually claimed to have poisoned the mighty musician himself. I'm sure I read this one. Salieri's claims were generally dismissed as the wild musing of a deranged competitor who sought fame by associating his name with the masterful Mozart. Another theory held that Mozart was assassinated by a conspiracy of Freemasons, even though the young Austrian's own doctors diagnosed the cause of death as a heated military fever. Quaint 18th century jargon for beats us. The truth is, other doctors who examined Mozart's corpse were never quite sure what he died of. Some suspected he had succumbed to tuberculosis, rheumatoid arthritis, or streptococcal infection, aka strep throat. Common theory today is that he died of uremia following chronic kidney disease. A more recent suggestion is that the boy wonder probably died of chronic subdural hematoma, a slow leakage of venous blood into the space between the skull and the brain. Miles Drake, a neurologist at Ohio State University who was studied in Mozart's skull for clues, theorizes that a crack in the left temple indicates the musician probably fell and hit his head, perhaps while in a drunken stupor. Mozart drank heavily during the last months of his life, presumably out of frustration at his inability to gain a desirable post and despondent over his poverty. In all likelihood, such an injury would have torn veins leading from the surface of the brain, allowing blood to leak into the subdural space, which lies between the dura mater, the brain's protective membrane, and the skull, Dr. Drake said. As the blood accumulated and dried, it would have put increasing pressure on Mozart's left hemisphere. That would have made him subject to the mood swings and depression that characterized the composer's final days. Dr. Drake said the injury could also have impaired the faculties controlled by the left hemisphere, including his ability to coordinate movements of the right side of his body and to compose music. There is no evidence, however, that Mozart's musical abilities were impaired toward the end of his life. On the contrary, it was 1791 that he wrote one of his greatest operas, The Magic Flute. The unfinished work for which he is equally famous, Requiem, was actually composed on his deathbed. Chronic depression, black thoughts, and headaches figured prominently in Mozart's 1790 letters to Michael Puchberg, a wealthy merchant whom he repeatedly begged for loans. Death was a common theme in his thoughts and letters. I thank my God for graciously granting me the opportunity of learning that death is the key which unlocks the doors to our true happiness, he once wrote. On another occasion he wrote, I have formed during the last few years such close relations with this best and truest friend of mankind, death, that his image is not only no longer terrifying to me, but is indeed very soothing and consoling. Morbid mutterings like these led some attending physicians to suspect the young musician was suffering from a deposit on the brain. Could be that scab we were talking about. In 18th century neurological terms, said Dr. Drake, that could have been anything from a brain abscess to a stroke to a brain tumor or a chronic subdural hematoma. Yet the old rumors that he was murdered would not go away, even though no evidence has been found to support such views. After his death, other myths flourished as well, including gossip about the relationship between his wife, Stans, and his best friend, Franz Sussmayer. Some musical historians have suggested that Sussmayer, who inherited the task of completing Requiem following Mozart's death, might have actually been the real father of Franz Xavier Wolfgang, the son who inherited Mozart's musical inclinations. One cold November morning, Mozart was found slumped unconscious at his desk. He spent the last 2 weeks of his life in bed, struggling in vain to complete Requiem. Shortly past midnight on December 5th, 1791, the master of symphonies and author of more than 600 musical masterpieces drew his last breath. Amid a howling rainstorm, the disease-racked body of the greatest musician in the history of the world was quietly laid to rest in a common grave because he was unable to afford a proper Christian burial. See, to me, that's ridiculous. If you're Christian, this should be done. You shouldn't be charged, just like, how we do paranormal investigations. We don't charge. If you want to make a donation, that's cool, but we don't charge for anything. That would be taking advantage. Spear of Destiny. Once a week, the huge double doors of Vienna's Hofburg Museum would open, and a pale, shabbily dressed young man would step through and head straight for a special exhibit featuring the treasures of the House of Habsburg. There, transfixed by the glittering crowns and other jeweled displays, behind the glass cases, we often stand for hours, not moving or speaking until ushered away at closing time. Of special interest to the young visitor was one particular object, the remains of a spear, dull and black with age. Pretty sure I read this one too, I remember it. According to legend, the spear point was none other than the one used by a Roman centurion named Longinus to kill Jesus as he hung on the cross. For his bloody sin, Longinus was cursed to walk the earth forever, or at least until the time of the apocalypse. The year was 1909. The visitor was struggling. He was a struggling young Austrian artist named Adolf Hitler. Yes, I know I read this. For the next 3 decades until his death in 1945, the fanatical leader of Germany's Third Reich sought to possess the famous spear, not so much for its historical and religious value, but because of its purported mystical properties. Tradition held that the owner of the Spear of Longinus, also called the Spear of Destiny, the Spear of Habsburg, and the Spear of the Holy Grail, and occasionally the Spear of Christ, would possess the power to conquer the world. But the relic also carried a terrible curse. Whoever controlled the relic and then lost it would suffer defeat and death. Some said Alaric carried the Holy Lance when he sacked Rome. King Heinrich of Saxony had it in his possession when he defeated the Magyars. Pope John VII is thought to have used it to christen Heinrich's son Otto the Great as Holy Roman Emperor. Otto later used the spear when he defeated the Mongolian hordes in the Battle of Lech. Constantine the Great claimed that he was guided by divine providence via the spear in his victory of Milvian Bridge, which established Christianity as the official religion of the Holy Roman Empire. Charlemagne later acquired the spear, then Charles Martel, Frederick Barbarossa, and a long list of other great generals, emperors, and statesmen who profited politically and militarily. Some lost the lance and paid the price. Charlemagne died after accidentally dropping it. Barbarossa drowned while crossing a river after letting the lance slip from his hands into the water. Even Napoleon sought the lance, but failed in his attempt to acquire the relic when enemies beat him to it following the Battle of Austerlitz. The spear finally wound up in the possession of the House of the Habsburgs, and by early 1900s was part of the collection stored in Hofburg Museum. It was there that Hitler, a young painter living in Vienna, learned about the lance and its mystical reputation. Dr. Walter Stein, who accompanied Hitler on one visit, said, "When we first stood side by side in front of the Spear of Destiny, it appeared to me that Hitler was in so deep a condition of trance that he was suffering almost complete sense denudation and a total lack of self-consciousness." Later, Hitler reportedly said, "I stood there quietly gazing upon it for several minutes, quite obvious to the scene around me, or oblivious to the scene around me. It seemed to carry some hidden inner meaning which evaded me, a meaning which I felt inwardly I knew, yet could not bring to consciousness. I felt as though I myself had held it before in some earlier century of history, that I myself had once claimed it as my talisman of power and held the destiny of the world in my hands." Some historians say that Hitler saw the lance as his mystical connection with generations of conquering Germanic leaders that had come before him. Soon after rising to power as Chancellor of Germany, Hitler moved quickly to annex Austria into his Third Reich. One of his first actions was to claim his Spear of Destiny from the Hofburg Museum. On October 13, 1938, the lance was loaded onto an armored train and sent to Nuremberg, part of the Nazi movement. There he kept it in a vault at St. Catherine's Church throughout most of the war. Protected from Allied bombing raids, Hitler had the mystical relic moved to a specially constructed vault beneath Nuremberg Castle. Finally, on April 30th, 1945, U.S. troops who had fought their way into Nuremberg in the face of fierce resistance entered the vault and came upon the spear, completely unaware that his treasured artifact had fallen into enemy hands. Hitler committed suicide in his Berlin bunker, just 80 minutes after Lieutenant Walter William Horn had seized the spear in the name of the United States of America. I really don't think he killed himself. I think that was hey UFO Bigfoot, good to see you. No, but I'm pretty sure he lived and then moved to Argentina and kind of hid out there for a while. I don't know if you guys have seen that on the History Channel, but they had Nazi camps there too, trying to make these Argentinian Nazis to fight against the United States, which never really happened, but, dream a little dream if you may. Some historians saw Hitler's obsession with the spear as proof that Nazism was more than just a political system aimed at world conquest. Nazism, wrote Jean-Michel Engelbert, a French historian and author of The Occult of the Third Reich, was only the most recent outcropping of a militant neo-paganism locked in a death struggle with its arch enemy, traditional Christianity, a struggle which will go on to the end of time. Hitler's own words uttered in 1944 hinted at the darker side of Nazism. He who has seen in National Socialism only a political movement has seen nothing. So today, the spear is back in Hofburg Museum, an ancient relic with a notorious past. The shaft is long gone, but the spearhead, held together by gold, silver, and bronze thread, and containing a knell from the crucifix, remains a favorite attraction, drawing thousands of visitors from around the world each year. I'd like to see that someday. That'd be nice. That'd be real nice. This next chapter is called Bizarre Notions. Snowball Earth. Millions of years ago, the Earth was a giant snowball, a barren blob of dirty gray ice and rock floating lifelessly through the primordial void. Then one day, the ice began to melt, slowly at first, then faster and faster as temperatures rose and mile-deep glaciers dripped northward. Then it happened again. Another thick blanket of ice moved down from the Earth, wrapping the frigid planet in a crusty mantle of glaring white ice. As before, the ice finally began to melt, and warmer temperatures returned. According to scientists, this freeze-thaw process repeated itself many times over the long history of Earth. And while all that was going on, budding young life forms came and went, struggling to survive the dramatic changes taking place on the young planet. Nobody knows what caused the Earth to freeze, what brought the huge sheet of ice marching down from the harsh northern realms to blanket the globe in a ghastly white pall. Nor does anybody know what caused the glaciers to finally reverse themselves, unleashing the sudden thaw that led to the evolution of complex organisms. Supposedly, according to science, we're about to go into another ice age pretty soon. Now seems that the first of these freeze-thaw cycles started about 2.2 billion years ago, when gargantuan glacial movements covered the northern hemisphere as far south as Panama and Costa Rica. The only forms of life on the planet then, simple, single-celled microbes, probably survived by burrowing underground or under the sea and adapting to chemosynthesis rather than photosynthesis, is caused by the sun. But an average, even greater catastrophe struck the Earth between 600 and 800 million years ago. This time monster, sheets of ice reached as far south as the tropics, in essence covering the entire globe, freezing and suffocating the planet's budding life forms. Once again, Snowball Earth was saved by a dramatic warming trend. Glaciers melted, rivers flowed wild, rising temperatures, and the abundance of water led to the rapid development of new species around the planet. Thanks, UFO Bigfoot. I'm glad you joined us. Now I don't feel so alone. Got a little bit here too, I think. I think he's still here. Let's see. But yeah, if you don't know, this is the book we're reading. The World's 100 Greatest Mysteries. Secrets. Strange Secrets of the Past Revealed. It's a pretty good one. The glaciers melted, rivers flowed wild, rising temperatures, and the abundance of water led to the rapid development of new species around the planet, including humans. I don't know. Chemical and isotopic analysis of rocks laid down in parts of Africa shows that the Earth went through at least 4 deep ice ages, each lasting millions of years. As more ice formed, the colder the Earth got. The dropping temperatures and icy glare reflected the sun's heat back into space, causing the planet to get even colder. Ooh. Wish it was colder in here. It's freaking hot. One of the biggest mysteries in science is what caused each of these ancient ice ages to end. I think it's the rotation of the planet. So every so odd, millions of years, the Earth tilts its axis and moves about. And we've had a little bit of a tilt, and a few things have changed. But I don't know. Like scientists are saying, we're going to go through another ice age soon, and I'm really not looking forward to it. But have a bunch of clothes, just in case. Chemical and isotopic analysis of rocks laid down in parts of Africa shows that the Earth went through at least 4 deep ice ages, each lasting millions of years. The more ice formed, the colder the Earth got. Yes, we read that. The dropping temperatures and icy glare reflected the sun's heat back into space, causing the planet to get even One of the biggest mysteries in science is what caused each of these ancient ice ages to end? As glaciers grew bigger and thicker, why did temperatures continue to fall, transforming the Earth into a permanent snowman? Some scientists theorize that a sudden rise in the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, perhaps belched up from volcanoes, created a temporary greenhouse effect that led to a rapid rising of temperatures and the bloom of a new species. Sea-dwelling snails and worms may have hastened this process along by stirring up carbon-rich sediments in the ocean. Dastardly snails. Another theory is that overturning ocean currents released large amounts of carbon dioxide trapped on the ocean floor. According to Dr. Alan J. Kaufman, a geophysicist at Harvard University, this process would have warmed the planet significantly. What would cause the water to turn over and liberate carbon dioxide from the depths of the ocean? Mid-ocean rivers are continually emitting gas, said Dr. Joseph L. Kirschvink, another Harvard researcher. At some point, the buildup of gases might have become unstable, and like champagne surging from a bottle, this could have created an explosion, an explosive upsurge of water that would have fractured the ice above and released carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. This scenario suggests that carbon dioxide spewing into the air trapped heat from the sun and contributed to the planet's steady warming trend. I don't know if you know, but Antarctica used to be a tropical place. I told my kids, due to the heat and stuff, let's move to Antarctica. But I'm not in a hurry. We got some time. We got some time to go. So, this scenario suggests that carbon dioxide spewing into the air trapped heat from the sun and contributed to the planet's steady warming trend. While this theory remains controversial, most climatologists agree that one way or another, carbon dioxide probably holds the key to the mystery of ancient glaciations, as well as the evolution of life itself. In the words of Harvard University professor Paul F. Hoffman, this was the start of the biggest explosion of animal diversity in the history of life. Oh no! Where's everybody going? Stay here. Got more stories to read, and then we got creepy videos at the end. Cosmic invaders. About 65 million years ago, a huge extraterrestrial object slammed into the Earth, picking up a global cloud of dust and debris that cloaked the world in darkness and wiped out many life forms, including dinosaurs. Could it happen again? Such a doomsday scenario seemed unthinkable, the stuff of science fiction. Now comes alarming new evidence that death-dealing asteroids and killer comets have been frequent visitors to the Earth, and that a catastrophe similar to the one that annihilated the dinosaurs could happen again. I don't know. Did you guys see that movie Armageddon? Sorry. That's how my sister used to say it. I want to watch Armageddon. Yay, UFO Bigfoot. I'm glad you're still here. It's like we were at 4, then we were down to 2, now we're back at 3. Stay here. It's going to get really, really good. Such a doomsday scenario seemed unthinkable, the stuff of science fiction. Now comes alarming new evidence that death-dealing asteroids and killer comets have been frequent visitors to Earth, and that a catastrophe similar to the one that annihilated the dinosaurs could happen again. Scientists who specialize in the study of asteroids and dingleberries, just kidding, I just added that stuff, Say the risk of death from a cosmic strike is greater than being killed in a plane crash. I hate flying. Like every time I fly, like when I was a kid, it was very exciting and I really liked it. But as an adult, I hate it. I think the older I get, the more I fear death, just because I think it's. So yeah, dying in an airplane, I'd hate that. But like it says here, you're more likely to die from an asteroid than a plane crash. So the risk is real, admitted David Morrison, a top researcher for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, who recently co chaired a team of government experts investigating the peril. A report issued by the team warned that the greatest hazard posed by an asteroid strike derives from the global veil of dust injected into the stratosphere. An impact would lead to worldwide crop failures and consequent mass mortality, and would threaten the survival of civilization. Ages, people gazing at the night sky have been fascinated, bewildered, and at times frightened by sudden streaks of bright light. Comets, fireballs, and other cosmic phenomenon were usually seen as divine omens or attributed to supernatural forces. Whole civilizations sometimes rose or fell based on their interpretations of celestial fireworks. But, as Dr. Morrison says, and other scientists have shown, the reality seems far stranger and more terrifying than ancient stargazers could possibly have imagined. I don't know if you guys know, but there's been a pretty big comet circling our planet, and it's closer than any that we've had in the past. Kind of creepy. And then also, like, oh my gosh, there's so many things happening all at once. Global warming, Antarctica, all these ice shelves are melting. And then, what was the other one? I can't remember the other one. Everything's on fire, everything's crazy. Like doomsday prophecies coming to life. Using sophisticated land-based sensors and orbiting satellites, researchers have discovered that colossal space rocks streaking through the cosmos bear down on Earth far more frequently than previously thought. Impacts rarely occur because they detonate upon entering the atmosphere, and they do, like, they come through the stratosphere, or I can't remember what they call it. They're saying there's water around the planet. There's water on the planet. I don't think there's water around. Oh man, I almost have the word for it. But anyways, yeah, when it comes through, like it's going so fast and hitting our atmosphere, it kind of breaks up. And sometimes it hits people's houses. Like there was a lady here in Farmington, New Mexico, not too far away from here, who had a freaking meteor land in her backyard. Um, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Using sophisticated land-based sensors and orbiting satellites, researchers have discovered that colossal space rocks streaking through the cosmos bear down on Earth far more frequently than previously thought. Impacts rarely occur because they detonate upon entering the atmosphere. Should one of these monster intruders get through, however, it could be devastating. Such a strike could radically alter life on Earth as we know it, said one astronomer at the Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico. Isn't that shut down now? I know there was like houses and all kinds of stuff up there, and now everybody's gone. I don't know why. Kinda weird. If one of these monster intruders get through, however, it could be devastating. I know UFO Bigfoot, like the older you get, the more you can't stand people. The more I can't stand. I have my friends, and I'm told they're not really my friends, they're just on Facebook, but they are really my friends, and I'd rather communicate through Facebook than, I don't know, being a physical property dealing with people in their time. Except for my girl Mia. We got to hang out with her, and that was pretty cool. We even got sucked into you ever played Trivial Pursuit? So we were there, and well, I was there, and I was trying to get a table for us because she's in town for a little bit. She had to leave the next day. I'm trying to get a table for us, and they're like, "Oh, well, we're doing, uh, right? UFO Bigfoot." I'm telling you, ghosts and aliens, all that shit is crazy, but people are really fucking crazy, especially the sheeple. But yeah, I was sitting there waiting for my girl Mia, and they're like, "Oh, we're having trivia night, and if you're not doing trivia, I can't seat you." And I was like, "Well, I don't know if we're going to or not." And then Mia showed up, and then again they asked us when we're sitting at our table, and we're like, "I guess we will." And we did pretty good, I guess. It was our first time. We kind of got, trivia divergenized. Like I said, I used to play Trivial Pursuit with the family. But then we're there at this restaurant, we're trying to eat and write down answers and stuff, and you hand it in, and then the guy grades it and gives it back to you. I called us the Misfits, MISS Fits. So like Miss or Mrs. Fits. But yeah, there was only two of us. The other groups were like 10 people, 8 people, 5 people, whatever. We were the smallest group there. We did pretty good. We got um, so literature was the first one, so it was about authors and stuff. We got 4 on that one. And then the second one was arborist, so it was like not arborist, that's trees. It was about birds. And we got 8 on that one because we're kind of like bird people. And then the third one was arts and artists. And we got 4 on that one too, but it was pretty interesting. We got our trivia cherry popped and had some really good food. And then we went and did a paranormal investigation after that, which didn't last too long because the family of this person that just passed was on their way, and we saw a light coming. We thought it was them, and we didn't want to be there and be disrespectful, but it was a good night. We had fun. We had good food, and it was nice to get out and have some, adult company and somebody that I really love and admire and enjoy spending time with. But she said she's coming back from Arizona soon, so we'll get to finish our paranormal investigation and get to hang out some more. She almost kidnapped me and took me to Arizona, but I can't go because I have kids. But yes, let's see, where were we? Until recently, it was believed that the rocky objects anywhere from a few feet in diameter to 90 or so feet wide strike 7 or 8 times a year. New evidence indicates that the bombardment occurs more often, perhaps 12 to 15 times annually. These blasts light the sky with brilliant fireballs, but are rarely seen because they often occur over the sea or uninhabited land. I saw one, excuse me, like a year or two ago, and I think it had certain things on it because as it came through the atmosphere, it wasn't straight down, it was going like this, and we were heading from Bethel to Durango. Tucky is what I like to call it. Yeah, we were heading into Durango, and here it comes streaking across the sky, and it was like this really pretty blue and green color. It was so pretty. I wish I could have found it. Like, I want to go out with a magnet stick and find these different meteorites because they're worth a lot of money. Ooh, in 2012, you're talking about orange orbs. There was one that followed us. So Ignacio is about okay. So where we were was about 12 miles from here, and we were at the motorcycle rally, and I was pregnant at the time, and I had my 2 daughters in my 78 Grand Torino. But I had to get them out of there because after a certain hour, like titties start flying and all kinds of crazy stuff starts to happen at the rally. So I'm taking the kids home, and Nova's like, "Mom, Mom, there's this orange ball following us," and I'm driving, so I'm like, "Hey, Sissy, I'm driving. Like, I can't look at it right now." But as soon as I got to the end of Rainbow Road and I stopped at the stop sign, I got out, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And so I was just getting out to look to see what she was talking about, and like Lauren Fitton said, like, put your fist out. How big is this orb compared to your fist? Well, it was a bit smaller, but it was only like 20 or 30 feet up in the sky. And then, so that was in August. Wait, no, September. The beginning of September is when the rally happens. They're trying to do it again, but I don't think it's going to be as good as it was before. Anywho's, so then I had my son. I gave birth to my son, and I'm sitting there breastfeeding him, and I'm looking out my back door. Now it's windows. It used to be a sliding glass door, but we put windows in instead and got rid of that sliding glass door. But coming along the fence line was another orb, like the same color, but when it was closer, like it was like I'm gonna say 3 feet in diameter, and because it was closer, like at a distance, it looked orange, like you were saying, but when it was closer, you could see that was yellow, orange, and red. It looked like liquid hot magma, or it looked like fire flowing through it. It was pretty intense. Like I tried to open my cell phone and like take video of it. Couldn't get my cell phone to work. And somebody talked about this last night on the show that um, when he's very close to these UFOs or UAPs or whatever the fuck you want to call it, your stuff won't work. So I couldn't get my cell phone to work. So I called my family over, and I'm like, hey, you guys gotta come see this. Like I stopped, popped the kid off the tit, laid him down, called my kids over, my two daughters and my husband, and the girls saw the same thing I did, like this spherical thing with fire flowing through it, coming at a slow walking pace down the fence. They saw the same thing I did, but my husband saw an orb with a humongous bat in it, flapping its wings at a very slow rate of speed. So freaking weird. But yes, I've got videos of UFOs here. I've got pictures of UFOs here. Like, it's pretty intriguing. They are out there and they are watching us. I don't know why they're collecting all this information, but pretty intriguing. All right, let's see. Should one of these monster intruders get through, however, it could be devastating. Such a strike could radically alter life on Earth as we know it, said one astronomer. Until recently, it was believed that the rocky objects, anywhere from a few feet in diameter to 90 or so feet wide, strike even 7 or 8 times a year. I already read that. These blasts light the sky with brilliant fireballs, but are rarely seen because they often occur over the sea or uninhabited areas. Dr. Douglas O. Revelle, a meteorologist at Los Alamos, said, at a minimum, these cosmic intruders produce blasts as big as a nuclear warhead of 1 kiloton, equal to 1,000 tons of high explosive. In 1908, for example, the speeding object exploded over Siberia with a force of some 20 hydrogen bombs. The resulting shock wave flattened hundreds of square miles of forest and reverberated around the world. Similar impact is thought to have occurred in Arizona about 20,000 years ago. And I don't know if you guys have noticed also, like, I think it's either explosions from, these meteors or asteroids or whatever hitting the Earth, but in the icebergs, you can see, like, I want to paint my car like a pearl white with like an iceberg undertone. So when you look at it from a certain angle, like it looks iceberg blue, which is one of my favorite colors. But going back to the iceberg, have you guys noticed that dark layer in there? Like that has to be like volcanic ash or something. That's one thing. Either volcanic ash or like um ash from an asteroid. On the wall. Won't you answer my calls? Sorry, guys. Well, that was my cue that we actually have to go to music break. So let me save my spot here really quick. All right, it's right there. All right, got it. So on this break, we have Mr. Jeff Hilliard, and I don't know if you've seen him on YouTube, but he's got some epic videos. Check out Jeff Hilliard. Abandoned, they're totally dressed up like an 80s band or whatnot. It's a really good song. Silicone Wave, Finger Bang Your Day, Finger Bang Your Day. Um, Consensual Sex Fan, which is another really good one. And then we have Cockroach from the UK with We Play House. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break. Left here alone, down my reflection on the wall. Won't you answer my calls? I gave you my all with the love we made together all night long. I just don't know what went wrong. I wrote the dice, 'cause I thought I saw forever in your eyes. Was all that passion a lie? Just another ball, kiss the teeth and left behind. So living cruel, you probably do this all the time. I ain't no puppet dog, lead in the bar. One day it's not enough. Come to you drove by your house again today. Peeked in the window and I saw you smiling. Your husband and your beautiful family. How many does he know about the way we made love on the night you met me? At Johnny's Tavern at 11:37 last Thursday. You said hello. Are you my Uber driver, baby? I said yeah. Then you asked if I wanted to party. I got an 8-ball from my friend Noel. We slumber on it in a cheap motel. We laughed, we cried, we came multiple times. The sex blew my mind. I ain't no puppet dog. I believe in the battle. One night is not enough. You won't let me love. You left me high and dry. You didn't even say goodbye. Now it's clear to the night. Could you open something that's so the way you took me, the way you love me. You want it.
I just got a package, I can't wait to get home. I spent all day tracking the shipment on my phone, all that she was lacking. I ordered custom, I can't wait to get some. Take it to the bedroom, she's always nagging. Now I got the air, I in this beach is packing, going my way. I have a new attraction, don't care what you say, it's better in every way. Now baby, it's time to play, we're gonna make us a tape and show everyone the way, cause I'm she don't need expensive date night. Never talks back, I'm always right. Stuff it in her face with all my might. We don't even care, we don't ever fight. She never cries when I'm testing the suspension. We blow it up like it's fucking Armageddon. We make the videos because this is perfection. Look at this perfection. I don't need protection cause I'm
The woman of my dreams.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Je suis amoureux.
Je pense que je
Enchanté,
suis
ma chérie. Ma
Très
petite domestique. Si j'étais le
puissant. C'est moi.
When your life is a never-ending train wreck, and you feel like you're drowning in a sea of regret, with a bit of oppression pressing down on your neck, it hurts so bad. When your overwhelming hatred kills your heart's desire, and reality starts looking like a dumpster fire, you start bitching to me, but you're preaching to the choir. You don't need to be so mad. 'Cause sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we're sure there's no reason to try. When the whole world goes completely insane, open your heart, stand up and sing. I'm gonna finger bang my day. Yeah, yeah, I'll finger bang my day. That's right. You gotta make the choice to give it all you've got, and make your day long with pleasure, really make it hot. Because your day deserves a lover that pulls out the stops. Come on, it's not so hard. 'Cause sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we sure there's no reason to try. When the whole world falls up in our face, what else could we do but stand up and say, I'm gonna finger bang my day. Yeah, yeah, finger bang my day.
Hey, what are we really doing? We can't live in a world that has this much hate. We have to get honest with ourselves. We have to take stock in what our part is in all of this madness. We have to let go, and we focus on giving love, setting that intention. And each and every single one of us gets up every day with the intention to give love. And we do it. We go out there and we give love every single day. Each one of us gets out there and makes love to our day. Giving our day a love to our orgasm.
Sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we should. There's no reason to try. When the whole world is fucking insane, when the heart is insane. Yeah, yeah, finger bang my day. Do you wanna go for a ride in my consensual sex bed? Do you wanna go for a ride in my consensual sex bed? Let me take you far away from all this huff and puff. There will be nothing in between our love, like a pair of doves flying high above, where nothing can touch us. jeans, oh please, don't let me go, I'll let you go. This is eternity with me, baby. Do you wanna go for a ride in the consensual sex bed? Do you wanna go for a ride? Consensual sex bed. You don't have to be alone. Go with me. Magic, healthy after boundary space, unknowing mutual consent. Happily will be bearing a soul naked by the sea. We'll breathe the clean. We'll be living, laughing, loving forever. Yeah. Do you wanna go for a ride? Consensual sex bed. Do you wanna go for a ride? Consensual sex bed. You don't have to be alone anymore. We will be together forever. Do you wanna go for a ride? Do you wanna go in my consent? Let's go, 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 let's go. Just get in the van.
We play house. We play house. We play house. We play house.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining me this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Thank you, Travis, for hanging out. Thank you, UFO Bigfoot guy, for being there. When you guys are there, it made my show a bit better. Oh, gosh, Travis just sent me an oracle here. Very intriguing, very interesting indeed. So in 1908, for example, and we're continuing on with Cosmic Invaders, a spinning object exploded over Siberia with a force of some 20 hydrogen bombs. The resulting shock wave flattened hundreds of square miles of forest and reverberated around the world. A similar impact is thought to have occurred in Arizona about 20,000 years ago. In the 1980s, a team of astronomers proposed that the planet faces great danger from these giant cosmic intruders. Secret data released by the military after the end of the Cold War seemed to confirm those fears. In 1993 and 1994, for example, once secret information showed that Earth had sustained 136 explosions high in the atmosphere from 1975 to 1992. An average of 8 a year, the blasts were calculated to have intensities roughly equal to 500 to 15,000 tons of high explosives, or the power of small atomic warheads. Today, Los Alamos monitors dangerous cosmic activity. Findings reveal that Earth was bombarded on average by 10 or 11 objects that are 6 or 7 feet wide and produce explosions equal to 1 kiloton nuclear blast. In addition, they report at least one fairly large extraterrestrial object about 20 feet wide roars into the atmosphere each year, setting off a blast equal to a 15 kiloton explosion. Such an impact, of course, could have devastating effect on the Earth. To help guard against such a calamity, the nations of the world are trying to band together in an effort to build a defense system that would include early warning monitors as well as nuclear shield. In the early 1990s, disaster was narrowly averted when an asteroid traveling at 46,000 miles per hour, that's pretty fast, measuring more than half a mile in diameter, passed within 500,000 miles of Earth, about twice the distance to the moon. On the cosmic scale of things, that was a close call, said Henry Hope, the retired U.S. Geological Survey scientist who detected the asteroid. Had the asteroid struck, Dr. Hope said, it would have been enough to destroy a good-sized country. But had it hit the ocean, it would have created tidal waves that would have washed over vast areas of coastal regions, explained Bevan French, a scientist in NASA's Solar System Exploration Division. It would have been a very major catastrophe for which we have had no experience. Sooner or later, warn astronomers, another major asteroid will collide with Earth. When that occurs, a cataclysm never before witnessed by humans will occur. Some fear it could be the end of the world. The demon cloud. Something horrible happened on the morning of August 16, 1984, near Lake Nyos, in the African nation of Cameroon, according to witnesses. A demon cloud rose from the dark waters and sucked out the souls of more than 1,000 villagers on their way to work. Survivors say it came at dawn and struck without warning. I think I've heard about this. There was nowhere for anyone to hide, nowhere for anyone to run. one terrified witness told an American newspaper reporter. The demon cloud engulfed them all and sucked out their spirits. I believe this was a water hole, and even like houses around this water hole, hello Travis, were affected. Like, the carbon monoxide or dioxide, whatever it was, like creeped into their houses and killed them while they were sleeping. And like they said, people that were getting up early that day to go to work were affected as well. All right, so government officials suspected terrorism was behind the deaths. It was a time of political unrest, and armed bands of guerrillas roamed the backcountry creating havoc. But scientists insist that the spirit was a lethal cloud of carbon dioxide, gas belched up from the bottom of the lake. Dr. David N. M. Robb, a former professor of paleontology at the University of Chicago, said, the carbon dioxide theory offers the only plausible explanation for the catastrophe. It's a good thing that someone has brought up this possibility, he told the New York Times. I think we're on the right track. Periodic eruptions of carbon dioxide gas have been common in the Earth's long geologic past. In fact, say some researchers, the Lake Nyos tragedy is very similar to one that happened some 250 million years ago, when about 90% of the planet's animal species were wiped out. That mass extinction, which came at the end of the Permian period, is thought to have been caused by a tremendous volcanic eruption in Siberia that spewed huge amounts of dust and carbon dioxide into the air, known as the Siberian Traps eruption. That event helped reshuffle Earth's genetic deck, making way for the rise of dinosaurs in the subsequent Mesozoic era. Although carbon dioxide is a normal respiration product of animal metabolism, too much of this compound is dangerous. Dissolved in blood, carbon dioxide forms carbonic acid, which acidifies the blood. Too much causes acidosis, which can kill animals, especially maritime organisms, with low metabolic rates. Few scientists suggest that carbon dioxide released into the air could have reached levels high enough to kill land animals. But air unusually rich in carbon dioxide could produce a heightened greenhouse effect, trapping energy from sunlight and raising global temperatures, which would be dangerous to some animals and destroy habitats needed by others. Dr. Richard Bombach, a geologist at Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University in Blacksburg, Virginia, believes that the Permian mass extinction could have been touched off by the impact of an asteroid, such as the one believed to have wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. Although the conditions that may have made the Permian seas a killer probably do not exist in modern oceans, certain inland lakes with high levels of carbon dioxide dissolved in deep water pose threats to nearby people and animals. It's still a theory, but a very acceptable one at the moment, noted Dr. William C. Evans of the United States Geological Survey. Chemical surveys at Lake Nyos showed that the content of the water was 96% carbon dioxide, an unusual discovery since decaying organic matter usually causes an equal mixture of carbon dioxide and methane. The study further revealed that the mixture appeared to be volcanic in origin. The leader of the team of investigators, Haraldur Sigurdsson of the University of Rhode Island, thought he had located the culprit at the bottom of the Lake Manaus, the smoldering volcano. In Dr. Sigurdsson's mind, the volcano had perhaps belched a deadly cloud of carbon dioxide that asphyxiated the villagers. But the results of more tests didn't jibe with his theory. For one thing, there is no detectable sulfur and the chlorine and fluorine content was low. We'd had a burst of hot volcanic gases. The Icelandic scientists noted these should have been high. Where had the carbon dioxide come from? Sigurdsson reasoned that rather than giving off a sudden enormous burst, the volcano had been quietly expelling carbon dioxide into the crater for many years, perhaps centuries. Because of the increased pressure at that depth, the water can hold much more gas than usual. The bottom layer of the lake had become supersaturated with a deadly mixture. And there's another lake that I read about where dead things will go to the bottom of the lake, and this lake overturns once a year. And so the things from the bottom of the lake will come up. So I could see this being a cause of it too. I don't know. If we'd had a burst of hot volcanic gases, the Icelandic scientists noted, these should have been high. Where had the carbon dioxide come from? Sigurdsson reasoned that rather than giving off a sudden enormous burst, the volcano had been quietly exhaling carbon dioxide into the crater for many years, perhaps centuries. Because of the increased pressure of that at that depth, the water can hold much more gas than usual. The bottom layer of the lake had become supersaturated with the deadly mixture. Sigurdsson suspects that just before midnight on August 15th, an earthquake triggered a landslide that caused Monaun's water to turn over and allowed the pressurized water to escape. See, this was saying, for some reason, the lake flips. So everything's all calm, and all of a sudden it flips. And whatever was at the bottom comes to the top. Things are revealed, dead bodies are shown. It's pretty intense, pretty creepy. Because of the increased pressure at that depth, the water can hold much more gas than usual. The bottom layer of the lake had become supersaturated with a deadly mixture. Sigurdsson suggests or suspects that just before midnight on August 15th, an earthquake triggered a landslide that caused Monaun's waters to turn over and allow the pressurized water to escape. The result of the runaway pressure decrease was powerful enough to cause a 15-foot wave, noted Sigurdsson, adding that the possibility of an even larger disaster scuttled an energy project at volcanic Lake Kivu in East Africa in the 1970s. Today, more than a decade after Monaun exhaled its killer cloud, the people of the region worry if the demon cloud will come again. Scientists share their concern, because it could happen again. You might consider moving, getting further away from the lake, even though lakefront property is pretty nice. Consider your life and your health habits. Some fear that one dark night, when the wind is still and there is a low rumble on the earth, Cameron's killer lake may strike again. The Black Plague. What? Said Travis. Seriously, there's dead things at the bottom of waters, and sometimes they get turned over and ripple up. Pretty creepy, I got to tell you. The invisible killer came from the east, riding the night wind aboard creaking old sailing vessels bound for Rome, Marseilles, Lisbon, and beyond the fog-shrouded British Isles. Before it was over, the bodies of some 25 million people, a quarter of Europe's population, lay in the ground. No other calamity has caused more death and suffering than the Black Plague of the 14th century. Percentage-wise, the scourge that struck within a 4-year period, 1347 to 1351, took more lives than all the world wars combined. Today it is thought that this devastation was started by bacteria carried by fleas lodged in the hair of a type of fair-ranging rat. That flourished in Central Asia. Victims caught the disease either from the bite of fleas or from the bodily discharges of infected persons. The medieval folk, the plague, looked like nothing less than God's terrible punishment for humanity's work. From Central Asia, the horror traveled to the Crimea with trade caravans, then by ship to Mediterranean coasts, and onward across Europe at a relentless pace. Normal life ceased. Fields were left untilled. Cattle turned loose to fend for themselves. Corpses were soon being buried, one on top of another, in shallow graves. Tipped wholesale into pits of consumed by flames. City life ground to a halt as the contagion spread and people fled their homes. Even the air seemed polluted with what contemporary chronicles described as an unbearable stench, so fetid as to be overpowering. The disease had three forms: bubonic, characterized by a swelling of lymph nodes, and the armpits, groin, and site of the flea bite; pneumonic, infecting the lungs and causing the coughing up of blood, or, most deadly of all, septicemic, in which the bloodstream was rapidly invaded by offending bacteria, making death inevitable within hours. Bleeding, lancing laxatives, and enemas were common but futile methods of fighting the unknown killer. Various haphazard potions ranging from powdered stag's horn to rare spices and compounds of gold were also prescribed. Aromatic woods were burned to purify the air, and the floors were sprinkled with rosewater and vinegar, measures that succeeded only in making the stench of decaying flesh. Mask the stench of decaying flesh. As the Black Death continued its sweep across Europe, bizarre religious sects sprang up, including the Brotherhood of Flagellants, a fanatical cult that had originated in Eastern Europe in the 13th century. It soon spread across the continent. Flagellants believed an angel had brought down a letter from heaven stating that the plague was punishment imposed by God, and that he might be brought to relent only by human acts of self-punishment. The Flagellants would set forth on so-called pilgrimages, marching in somber lines, two abreast, eyes fixed on the ground. Each carried boards, which they used to beat each other mercilessly whenever they encountered onlookers. That reminds me of Monty Python's The Meaning of Life or something like that, where the monks come through and they do their chant and they wipe themselves on the forehead. Hey, I'm a rich girl. Outfit check. Nice to see you, girlie. Thanks for joining us. All right, so pilgrimages lasted for 33 and a half days, the number of years in Christ's life. And during those days, the Flagellants were forbidden to wash or to clean their wounds. Kind of reminds me of like combat training. When you're in the field, you can't shower, you're wearing the same old yucky camo outfits, and things start to get really stink. Oh, guys, I feel their pain. Invisible killers. Countless cons, they lay hidden in the tropical gloom of the world's rainforest. Millions of natural-born killers, too small to be seen with the naked eye. But with the gradual destruction of the ecosystem, many of these ancient predators, highly contagious microscopic organisms, the ravenous taste for blood, have awakened to wreak havoc on humanity. Tens of thousands of people, mostly from tropical regions in Africa, were timber crews, farmers, and hunters, threatened to destroy the forests, have died from exotic viral infestations since the late 1970s, when scientists first became aware of the disease and started to track their spread. Death comes swiftly and painfully to those whose bodies are invaded by the unseen killers. Victims vomit black blood as internal organs bleed out, and muscle and bone tissue dissolve like jelly. Eyeballs literally pop out, and muscle and bone tissue dissolve like jelly. The brain hemorrhages, the heart explodes, the liver turns to pudding, and the intestines fill with blood before the victim lapses mercifully into a coma and dies. Vampire-like, the hungry agents, officially known as viruses, go airborne to seek new hosts, fresh meat. Entire villages have been wiped out in Central Africa by a single infestation. Some authorities say it's only a matter of time before major outbreaks reach the industrialized world. When that happens, millions upon millions of people could die from various viral strains that make AIDS look like the whooping cough. Whooping cough is fucking scary. I went through that with my second daughter. Don't want to do it again. In recent years, popular books and movies like The Hot Zone and Outbreak. Yes, I turned that on and had my husband watch it when COVID hit. Because Outbreak's a really good movie. Have brought public attention to the reality of emerging viruses and the potential for disastrous epidemics. While these works created some false impressions, the basic message was clear. Either the world wakes up to the danger and takes corrective action, or it may be the end of the line for the human race. Why is all this happening now? In a sense, say some environmentalists, the Earth is getting even with humans for having disturbed its delicate ecosystem. Centuries of wanton destruction by plows, axes, and bulldozers have upset the balance of nature, and now Mother Nature is exacting a terrible revenge. The Earth is under attack by growing populations of humans, said one microbiologist. The tropical rainforests are only trying to defend themselves. Said Richard Preston, author of The Hot Zone, a terrifying true book about a near outbreak in Washington, D.C. in the late 1980s. Perhaps the biosphere does not like the idea of 5 billion humans. It is beginning to react to the human parasite, the flooding infection of people, the dead spots of concrete all over the planet, the cancerous rot-outs in Europe, Japan, and the United States. Thick with replicating primitives, the colonies enlarging and spreading and threatening to shock the biosphere with mass extinctions. Outbreaks of previously unknown viruses, principally Ebola, Marburg, and Reston, are increasing rapidly in tropic zones around the world. Scientists gloomily predict that even more deadly viruses will emerge from the rainforest as civilization presses deeper into untrammeled regions. I'm sure that we're going to see in the future a lot of new diseases, said Dr. Elaine Georges, a virologist. It's that odd. Archaeological evidence shows that the current outbreaks are not the first to wreak havoc in tropical lands. In ages past, as humans cleared brush, plowed fields, and pressed deeper into the forests, they stirred up viruses left over from an earlier and evil era. These settlements mysteriously disappeared along with their populations. One possible reason: repeated epidemics of one or more killing diseases. First outbreak of the deadly Ebola virus was not reported until 1977, although it was spread rapidly, especially in Uganda, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Kenya, Zaire, Sudan, Gabon, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, and Liberia, Cameroon, and the Central African Republic. The mode of infection remains unknown. Some virologists suspect certain species of monkeys and apes may harbor the virus and pass it along to humans who eat or come in contact with these creatures. Others theorize that deadly germs are unleashed when saw gangs disrupt the forest floor or bring down the canopies of huge, disease-laden trees where ancient, death-dealing viruses may have been missing. That's pretty deep. Emerging killers such as AIDS surfacing from ecologically damaged parts of the earth appear to be a natural consequence of the ruin of the biosphere, Preston pointed out. Many of them come from the tattered edges of tropical rainforests, or they come from tropical savanna that is being settled rapidly by people, he speculates. The tropical rainforests are the deep reservoirs of life on the planet, containing most of the world's plant and animal species. But, he adds, the rainforests are also the largest reservoirs of viruses, some of them millions of years old. Around since the dawn of time, and when viruses come out of the ecosystem, they tend to spread in waves through the human population, like echoes from the dying biosphere. In recent years, researchers have discovered dozens of previously unknown viruses, including Lassa, Arapuk, Roshio, Guanarito, monkeypox, dengue, chikungunya. Among newly found hantaviruses are Machupo and Junin, but a growing number of scientists fear the worst is yet to come unless we stop trashing the rainforest and learn to better respect the earth. Do we really need, all this furniture and all this other stuff? I'm telling you. It's insane. Base on Mars. Let's see how we can get through this. And Professor Tom Van Flandern gazes up into the night sky. He sees cosmic remains of ancient empires long dead. The dust of civilizations that flowered and died countless times, eons before humans walked the earth. Hey, Truzado, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. According, to this Oxford-trained astronomer, the closest visible reminders of vanished celestial kingdoms can be seen on one of Earth's closest neighbors, the planet Mars. When we look closely, we can see the ruins of an ancient race of people who flourished millions of years ago, Dr. Ben Flandern said. The evidence, he adds, can be seen in a series of controversial topographical formations on the red planet's surface. First photographed in 1976 by a Viking orbiter, at first glance, many of these formations appear to be artificial. Some even resemble ancient Egyptian pyramids. Tell you something? They're everywhere. They're all over the earth. The most striking formation, however, is located in the Cydonia region and bears an uncanny resemblance to a human face looking outward into space. This so-called face on Mars has been the subject of intense scrutiny since computer-enhanced images of the photograph were studied by NASA officials in the 1980s. Some scientists, including Dr. Ben Flandern, are convinced that the face was built millions of years ago by an extinct race that colonized Mars after their own planet was destroyed in an asteroid collision. Dr. Ben Flandern believes that the main asteroid belt in the solar system is probably the shattered remains of two planets that collided and exploded between 65 million and 250 million years ago. Intelligent life on at least one of those planets evacuated before the collision and launched colonization probes on Mars, Earth, and perhaps elsewhere in the solar system. Alan F. Alford, author of two best-selling books on the subject, the Phoenix solution, and gods of the new millennium agrees that Dr. Ben Flandern may be correct. The ancient Egyptians and their predecessors had a profound scientific knowledge of the exploded planets, including the causes of these explosions and the subsequent effects on the evolution of life on Earth. Alfred, who lives in England, said NASA has tried to cover up the truth about the face on Mars by distorting photos taken by Mars Global Surveyor spacecraft in April of 1999. And I'm telling you, they've covered up so many photos. It's freaking insane. Like, why? Just be honest and let us know the truth. Yes, a lot of us will run around like chickens with our head cut off, but many of us are very aware of UFOs, UFO technology, and life on other planets. So please just let us be and share that information. That's going good, Truzido. Like I said, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Alfred, who lives in England, said NASA. Okay, I already read that. The re-imaging of the so-called face on Mars by NASA's Mars Global Surveyor spacecraft in April 1998 has done little to dampen the vigorous debate on its possible artificial manufacture by an unknown extraterrestrial race, Alfred said. Officials at NASA insist that their face is really nothing more than a natural rock formation, an opinion shared by most astronomers and geologists who have studied the pictures. We humans have an infinite ability to see deliberate images where none exists, commented one NASA official. Why else do so many people every year see Jesus or the Virgin Mary in tortillas, wall stains, or clouds, even toast? Referring to the new image, Chief Scientist Arden L. Albee of the California Institute of Technology was quoted in the Washington Post as saying, "Anyone who has flown in an airplane will recognize that this face is natural." The butte, a mesa, a knob, added Michael Rabin, Advanced Projects Manager at Modine Space Site Systems in San Diego, which operated Surveyor's camera. Nothing jumps out at me and screams, "This must have been built by the forces of intelligence." Analyst Tom Van Flandern insists that the face is artificial, built millions of years ago by unknown space colonizers from the doomed world. You think maybe we're Martians? There is like the zigzag, like laser sort of weapon that was used on Mars. I think during the wars on Mars, and I think perhaps we escaped to this planet. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Analyst Tom Van Flandern insists that the face is artificial. The humanoid facial features that first drew attention to this area are confirmed by this new photo despite poor lighting and poor viewing angle, Dr. Van Flandern said. One feature, the headdress, is so much a symmetrical combination of right-angle, linear, and rounded features as to suggest artificiality strongly. After its discovery in 1976, NASA observers quietly filed away pictures of the face on Mars, along with hundreds taken on the mission. 2 shots from the Viking orbiter, identified as framed 35A72 and 70A13, show the face partly in shadow, which has the effect of strengthening human features. The face is roughly 2,500 meters long, about 1.5 miles, 2,000 meters wide, 1.2 miles, and 400 meters at its highest point, about 1/5 of a mile. Several pyramid-like objects purportedly surround the face, objects that some researchers think might constitute a city square, complete with 4 small mounds, a large main pyramid, and a fortress just east of the main pyramid. The exact purpose of the face and other suspected artificial monuments on the Martian landscape remains unclear. I suspect, said Alfred, that future probes to the red planet, followed up by careful and open-minded study will answer that and countless other questions. Some diehard supporters of the Fates on Mars theory insist it will probably make a manned mission to the Red Planet before the debate is finally settled. And this book was written, I just looked this up recently. Let me look it up again. So it was written and published in the year 2000. So they did not know of Elon Musk and what he's doing as far as manned missions to Mars. They've been having this going on for the last 10 years. People putting in their projects as far as like housing and gardens and different things. And people signing up for a one-way trip. If you go to Mars, you're not going to come back. But on that note, boys and girls, we are going to go to our second music break. On this break, we have Mr. Jeff Hilliard again with The Cock That Heals. We also have Multitude. We also have, hold on one second. The Good Life. And then we have Cockroach from the UK with ICU. And we have Miss Mia Savage with Veneer and Crypto. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
You want, you need, you want. Give in, I will be the one that can heal you. I hate that. Now, you think you can get your way. You want to really care. You're desperate and pathetic. Nothing but a coward. You're a fool, but not in your own person. No one believe you. They see you for what you are. You're just a fool and show of work.
All the moves, got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Could have too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. I'm molar too. You go wrong. All these hookers tweet on me. Look at them chasing me, showing me that ass. And I bang up snatch. I do this shit for free. Go down your mom till 3. She's taking selfies with the mullet like history. How can I maneuver you with that pussy, dude? You feel like Buddha waiting on it to come to you. My lines are straight to the point. She shows me gratitude. So what's your latitude? Let's adjust your attitude. Alligator, double dually Lamborghini, all up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini. I got all the moves. I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Alligator, double dually Lamborghini, all up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. Alligator, double dually Lamborghini, all up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini. You're like the butt of a butternut cutting up panini. So climb back in your kangaroo pouch like a roller genie. These moves are hot, these locks I got. This power cannot be disputed and it can't be bought. So you can find me in the studio with all these thoughts. You wanna buy my style, but you can't be what you're not, neighbor. I got all the moves, I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check this molar moves. You need a molar too. You know wrong. Cut it.
Yeah. Next time you come around here with your bitch ass, just remember how my mullet makes your hoes pussy drip, drip, drip.
I got molar moves. I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? It's too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I'm never gonna cut it. I got molar moves. I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? It's too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I'm never gonna cut it. Never gonna cut it. Never gonna cut it.
Drip, drip.
Molar moves.
Just a molar, bitch.
Molar moves.
Drip.
Molar moves. Never gonna cut it. Excuse me. Excuse me. You got a cigarette? You help the guy have a fair change. Anything will do, man. God bless you. I missed the fire. I got anything like that. Oh, I love the steak, guys. This is a good life. Dancing in the moonlight. I wanna be out of you. We got nothing to do. But I'm going to do. And I know you wanna ride for gas. Don't give me no black ocean on your oh. Oh, I love the steak, guys. That's right. This is a good life. Dancing in the moonlight. Don't Save you. They're hiding behind the moon, watching your every move. This is a good life.
Get money. Get money. Get high. Get money. Get high. Get money. Get high.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. The last hour, we covered our book, The World's 100 Greatest Mysteries, Strange Secrets of the Past Revealed. Been a pretty good book. We're basically at the end. We have this much left. But for the last hour, I wanted to get into some creepy videos. Hope you guys are down with that. If not, sorry. So sorry. I'm going to share screen. Share screen. Here we go. And this is by Mind Junkie. You guys ready? Want to talk about it? Like, here we go.
Top 20 scary videos. Run.
Run.
First video for today is a video I found on Facebook, uploaded by Gabriel Martinez. The video has been circulating since the 10th of November 2020, but I've yet to see it featured. Gabriel, who recorded an uploaded video, ventures out to an abandoned haunted school alone, late at night, and what he captures on camera makes his blood turn cold.
Esta es la escuela que tanto les decía. Ahí voy a escuchar.
Jumping a fence?
Y por allá hay una novia. Pero la novia no me... Porque ese culo. Y al chile sí tengo un poquito de miedo.
He's a bit scared.
Un poquito nomás.
Poquito.
Pero esta es la escuela.
Hola.
Escuela San Benito Juárez. 1954. Está mal. A ver, enfoca bien. Ahí está esta madre. Aquí hay una. Esta madre no se abre. Uy, güey. Me caí con eso. Es todo lo que... Mira nomás, esta sí está abierta. Ahora.
Oh, what's on the chalkboard? Oh no. I'm sorry.
Pues ya vieron, güey.
Yeah.
Puro pinche pedo, no hay ni madres a la ver. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, no mames. No mames. ¿Qué es esto? No, no. ¿Quién es?
It's breathing pretty heavy. Don't breathe that heavy. There's
¿Quién
asbestos.
es?
Who is it?
Que le pregunto, güey.
Oh no. Did you see it?
Puta madre. Ay, güey.
As Gabriel enters a classroom, a plank of wood moves behind him, then the door to the classroom slams shut. Gabriel is terrified. It sounds like he loads his gun. He calls out, but gets no reply. In absolute fear, Gabriel cautiously takes a look outside, and the coast looks clear. But as he's walking away, something startles him, and he spins the camera around, and what looks like the face of a child can be seen staring right at Gabriel.
No.
Gabriel yells in horror and flees the haunted school. So, could this be a ghost caught on camera by Gabriel, or is it fake? As always, it's your call. Don't go alone.
19.
This video is taken from the YouTube channel Voice Evil, and it's pretty creepy. Voice Evil claims that he caught a quote paranormal shadow orb inside a cabin's workshed on the 4th of February 2020. Apparently, his friend's grandfather sadly passed away recently, and another friend moved into the cabin before leaving after only 2 days. Voice Evil decides to investigate the cabin to see why his friend left so suddenly, and, well, maybe he shouldn't have.
Door. Maybe creaky door. Oh. Or.
As Voice Evil takes a look around the cabin, he gets spooked by something, then a dark shadowy object can be seen moving on camera before a second black object flies towards him, scaring him to death. Video then cuts there. Class dismissed.
Number 18.
This video was uploaded in 2014 to the YouTube channel Archivo Paranormal Web. The video was recorded inside a classroom in 2010, and the uploader states that the reason the video was recorded was for evaluation purposes. Apparently, unexplainable things had been happening in the classroom for months and were reported to the head teacher on several occasions. However, these reports were ignored and blamed on the students. The last resort to back up their claims was to set up a static camera inside the classroom, and this is what they caught on camera.
I'll send you home tonight.
Okay guys, remember what I said this morning then? Said the camera's not there, that's just there so that my boss can see what we've been doing in our lessons. Right, what were we talking about this morning?
Right, lad.
What have we been doing this morning? Excellent, thanks. Yeah, safety in the community. Okay, good, Stephen. So we've been talking about dangers that we might face when we're out and about. What dangers might we bump into? Stephen, don't do that, please. It's distracting. Right, okay, well, whoever it was, don't do that, please. Go on. Drugs, excellent. Yeah, drugs. Okay, so that's one thing. Someone give me another one then.
You're good, Dad. What?
It definitely seemed that way, didn't it? Right. What we're going to do, we need to.
Yeah.
I tell you what, guys. Let's just go out for a minute. Follow me.
Oh, yeah.
The folder moves on the table, then a few seconds later, the box moves towards the teacher, and the teacher looks confused. Then the box moves again, startling the teacher, who then orders the students to vacate the classroom. They leave the camera rolling when a drawer opens and then closes all by itself. The chair swivels round on its own before the camera is knocked to the floor, and a drawer can be heard opening and closing before the video ends there. So, what do you guys think? Is this video real evidence of something paranormal? Or maybe it's just a film for a school project? Let me know what you think down in the comments. In the parking lot. This next video was caught on a parking lot CCTV camera and was uploaded as a YouTube short by Scooter979 Represent. It's not a long video and there isn't much to say, however, it is rather strange. Watch closely.
See the white thing over there? Yeah.
The door to the truck seems to open all on its own and swing slightly before a white orb-like object can be seen floating away. The door to the truck continues to swing back and forth before slowly closing inexplicably all by itself. So, could this be footage of something paranormal, or is it a fake? Drop a comment below with your thoughts. Now you see me, now you don't. In this clip, taken from the channel clip hand 2, something rather creepy happens. An urban explorer records a video of their exploration inside an abandoned building, alone, or so they thought.
That's so weird because I had a dream the other night where I don't remember if it was Michaela or Mackenzie, but they turned around and their eyes were black around their eyes like that. Super creepy. You see it? I saw something standing there.
At first, we can see the room is empty. No one is by the window. However, a few seconds later, when the camera pans past the window, a female figure can be seen just standing there. And when the camera pans back, the figure has vanished. Creepy. Peekaboo. This video comes from the YouTube channel PJ Manson and is only 25 seconds long, but PJ claims he caught a, quote, shadow figure on camera when he and 2 of his friends were invited to investigate another friend's apartment. He states paranormal activity had been non-stop while his friend was living there, and that when PJ and his friends were investigating her apartment, they felt a strange energy, heard unexplained voices, and PJ's phone mysteriously malfunctioned, but nothing could prepare them for this.
Shadow bastard.
Shadow figure can be seen peeking out from behind a wall at the bottom of the basement stairs. The face has no distinguishable facial features and just stares right at PJ before ducking away. PJ states that he and his friends have no idea who this could be, but what do you think? Did PJ Mansion capture a shadow figure on camera, or is it all fake? Tell me what you think in the comments below. The Stalker. The YouTube channel Paranormal Instincts uploaded this creepy video clip of a girl walking her dog late at night in a forest when her dog seems to notice someone or something lurking in the trees close by.
Come on, Grace. What's up?
What's up, pup? Ooh.
Come on.
Lots of cats, like,
Come on.
your pets can see a lot more than you can.
Come on. Bruce. Come on.
Bruce spots something in the trees, but she doesn't notice it. A figure dressed in black with a pale white face seems to watch them as they walk by. Could this be something paranormal or a strange person stalking the girl and her dog? Whatever the case, the fact that something is sneakily watching them from the trees, unbeknown to the girl, makes this clip really creepy. Poltergeist. Jordan Sovis uploaded this video back in 2011, which shows him and his friend Chris investigating a haunted house out on the countryside. The video starts out with them driving out to the location of the haunted house. When they arrive, they enter through a partially open garage door. They start their investigation, joking about ghosts. Maybe that was a bad idea.
Empty pack of cigarettes.
that feels kind of weird. Going through someone's like old stuff, you know.
And it's weird, like as they're doing this, like throughout the video, there's different creepy things going on. But if you see out in that field later on, there's an old guy like out there like collecting twigs or pieces of wood or something. I don't know if that's a caretaker of this home or like a neighbor. Um, pretty freaking creepy. Tell you what.
Is there anybody in this house? Can you make known your presence to us somehow?
God, shit, dude. What in the world is that?
Dude,
What in the
that just
world,
happened?
man? What? Dude, hold on a second.
That seriously just happened?
Calm down. Calm down. What is going on? Is that you?
Coming.
Is there any ghostly spirits in this house? Talk.
No way, dude.
Dude.
No way. Did that piano just seriously play by itself?
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Oh, dude, we should get out of this. Oh my gosh.
Hold on. We came here to do this. We're actually
I don't wanna
getting stuff.
dude, I don't want to be in that place. That piano is still
playing.
playing.
It's still playing.
Weird.
Let's go back in. I'm never coming back here again in my life. So let's get as much as we can here.
You seriously you better go first then, dude.
I didn't even know that I believe. I never believed in ghosts.
I want to throw up.
Man.
Don't even go. What is your name? Hello?
Aloha.
Can you do anything besides play the piano?
Oh, that's pretty impressive.
The pair ask for the entity to make its presence known to them, and the kitchen drawer starts slamming open and shut. The pair are shocked by what they just saw, but eventually regather their courage. They ask again if there are any spirits in the house, and then the piano mysteriously starts playing all by itself. And if you look closely, you can see the keys of the piano were being pressed by something we can't see. The pair flee the house before deciding to head the group chose to investigate a place called the Haunted Woods. C was uploaded in 2018 and is titled "We Capture a Shadow Man on Camera." And well, after watching the video, it most certainly looks like it.
You got it again. Just stand in the same place or?
No, the call outs and stuff like that to see if we get any responses.
You just walk out and then I'll follow you. Yeah. I'll stand here for a minute.
As the group is starting their investigation, if you look to the top right of the screen, a dark shadow-like figure can be clearly seen on camera.
Oh!
And later in the clip, when the camera shows the same spot again, there's no one there. The team claim they can't explain what or who it was, and that they had been there for a while but never saw anybody else. What do you guys think? Is this not caught on camera? Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Damn shadow bastard!
If you're enjoying this episode so far, all I ask is that you please like this video and comment something below to help get this video out. Doing so will help more people see it, and it allows me to keep bringing you guys more free content that you don't have to pay for, like Netflix. please smash that like button and drop a comment below.
Smash it.
Your home is haunted.
Number 10.
I found scary clips over on TikTok uploaded by the user Bunny Squid 95. Apparently Bunny Squid 95, aka Devin, and her fiance had just moved to a new apartment above an empty house when they started experiencing strange, unexplainable things happening around their home.
Hey guys, it's 12 o'clock in the morning, and I heard some weird noises.
Her voice is like so sweet and pure. It's like, ew. I don't know. She kind of reminds me of one of those girls that, you know, put their ears on and ew.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Okay, so I just got to turn the light on.
She sounds
there's still. Okay, and oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's still weird. That's it.
Yeah, or she's just very used.
Hi guys. I had just gotten up to show everybody that my fan is just a regular oscillating fan. It's not anything we'll be able to move. A ceramic cup, as you can see now. And then I started hearing some noises, so I was going to just record and see what. What happened? Okay, so you can see a lot of the activity is centered mostly in my kitchen. It's probably not a coincidence. I'll show you guys the garage sometime. It's directly below the kitchen, but yeah, a lot of weird stuff happens down there too. The paper towel and the water bottle. Oh. Okay. Are we in the chair then? Is that what I'm supposed to see?
Oh.
Hello? Oh, okay.
Devin starts recording because she heard strange noises. And then we see objects mysteriously move on a table in the kitchen. Then, as Devin's in the kitchen, the cupboard door slowly opens all by itself. Some paper falls off the fridge door before bangs are heard, and more things can be heard landing on the floor. Then, as Devin is filming a video trying to prove what's happening is real, objects mysteriously start moving around her kitchen. Devin records another video using the reality ripple effect, which users claim can pick up ghosts. And as she's filming a chair, the camera picks up something. Then a voice is heard, which Devin claims wasn't her. And the reality ripple effect keeps picking up something standing right in front of her. As with all TikTok videos, the comment section is filled with comments from believers and non-believers. But what do you guys think? Is this video real or fake? As always, that's up to you to decide. Reflection. This video is a 3-part series by the Ghost Hunter channel, HRJ Paranormal Adventures, where they visit the old South Pittsburgh hospital, which is supposed to be incredibly haunted. I think this video was shared a couple of years ago, but I thought I'd feature it in case anyone hasn't seen it already. In this particular video, which is part 2 of the 3-part series, the team attempt to communicate with whatever spirits are in the area. Around 3 minutes into the video, they managed to capture this on camera. What looks like a ghostly apparition can be seen in the reflection of the glass window. The question is this a ghost caught on camera or just a reflection?
That's creepy AF.
Well, that's up to you to decide.
You don't see me.
Behind you. The next video was uploaded to YouTube in 2010 by Nightowl2007. The video shows 3 students who climb down into the sewers beneath Los Angeles and discover something horrifying.
No.
You stepped on my hand. Sorry about that. There's a cobweb right there. You see it?
Yes.
Dude, Jesus Christ. I forgot how scary it was down here. Look, point it down though. Dude, no. You cannot see how far down it goes. 5,000.
Are these ones you shake?
No, you crack it, dude. Crack it. There you go. Have you really never used a light stick before? Hey, turn off the lights. Turn off the lights. Hold on.
Dude, this is pretty big.
It comes out. Ha who wants to go in there? This one's fucking cylinder. Whoa.
What's that noise?
Did you hear that? You see anything? Yeah. Toss it down. Dude, it's not bright enough. Crack the other one.
Hey, tissue.
I don't think you're strong enough light here.
Anything?
What the?
As the three students are exploring the sewers, a loud growl can be heard echoing through the sewer tunnels, but the group seem unfazed. Then, as they can glow sticks to create more light, the face, someone or something can be seen standing behind one of the students. The group spot and run for their lives, and viewers have been left guided by this video, with some claiming it's real and some claiming it's fake. But what do you think? Is it real or fake? Let me know in the comments. What is this? This next creepy video.
But the last one was like, the Phantom of the Opera is here in the sewer tunnel.
Has been viewed quite a bit. It's not new. However, I haven't seen it mentioned on any other channel recently. The video was uploaded in 2010 by Vicky Bramshaw, and Vicky states that the short clip was taken on holiday on a phone camera and that it's definitely not fake. But watch this and make up your own mind.
This is the door of the cell in Newgate Prison, where St. Oliver Plunkett was in prison for 8 months.
It's a very interesting figure because he was first ecumenical Christian priest.
Something can be seen inside the window to the prison door. Could it be a reflection of the light, or is it something paranormal? Leave a comment below with your opinion. The figure. This creepy video comes from the Japanese ghost hunter channel, Suda-chan, where he visits an abandoned house in search of the paranormal, alone, or is he?
Whoever was there left really fast. Just left all.
In there. In Suda-chan doesn't notice it. He goes on with his investigation. Creepy. And next creepy video comes from TikTok user Antonio Delgado 30, and I'm surprised this video hasn't had more views, as it is pretty creepy.
Tengo mucho miedo de eso en la casa. Me han pasado cosas de que se me ha olvidado. Cosas, no hay luz. Muchas cosas. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Quién está ahí? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? Oh,
As Antonio is investigating his home, getting out from under the table, on his own, the light starts flickering, and then the face of someone or something can be seen peeking out, just watching Antonio. But is this video real or fake? As always, it's your call. What was that? Next creepy video was uploaded to the TikTok account, Austin OGs, and It's one that's pretty creepy. The video has been circulating on TikTok recently and has gained over 50 million views since it was uploaded on February 11th this year. There's not much to say other than Austin takes a look inside the back in a door, which supposedly leads through to an abandoned hallway, and gets a creepy surprise. As Austin takes a look inside, a figure can be seen staring eerily at the camera before charging towards it. Now, I don't know if this video is real or fake, so as always, you guys are the judges.
What the hell?
Did you see it? This next video has been shared before, however, I thought I'd include it because it's fun, but really creepy. The YouTube channel The South Cats uploaded this video on the 13th of February 2022 when they visited America's most famous haunted abandoned amusement park to conduct a paranormal investigation. Around 14 minutes into the video, to communicate with any spirits in the area and catch someone or something lurking nearby.
So, the little girl that's here, the object that I'm holding, it kind of looks like a necklace, and you're more than welcome to touch it. It just lets me know answers to questions that I asked you. So, feel free to answer as much or as little as you would like.
Oh, it?
Do you like it here, Johnny?
Captured on camera by the South Cats, a small shadowy figure that could possibly be that of a child can be seen moving around in the darkness behind them. At the time of recording, the pair weren't aware of it, and it was only when they viewed their footage back did they realise what they had just captured. So what do you guys think? Did the South Cats capture a shadow figure on camera? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Demon. These next set of clips, which I put together, were taken from the YouTube account Demon in the Basement. The uploader claims that the following footage is 100% real, but as always, I'll let you be the judge.
Look at that. I swear to God.
Oh my Lord.
Hand on stack of Bibles. This was not me. And the was scattered on the dang kitchen floor. So yeah, something is absolutely going on in this place.
Look at his eyeballs.
And I thought I heard something.
He needs a dog or something. He needs
I
his
keep
own
thinking
pet.
I'm seeing something in the corner of my eye.
This one's something or someone tapped him on the butt to his hair when it happens.
It's getting like really, really creepy. I don't. All right, I hope you can hear the motor. That is the spot in the living room I was telling you about. I've got the leak fixed, but as you can see, the tile is pretty much damaged.
Yeah,
We're going to have to get some new tile. But
there's a little wet.
that's one spot, and then we got another spot.
You gotta have your Confederate
here,
flag and your
that's the work spot.
there on the
Oh, and check this out. Look what I saw on the ground. That is
Dead
wooden
bugs?
paint from there.
Okay.
That door has been sealed up. I'm not open since I've been here because it's been sealed caulk and stuff. But I gotta get a door. I'm gonna get that fixed.
Keep cocking it. Keep cocking it.
And then, of course, we
And
got
then
the blinds.
looks like somebody's been peeking out there.
Here. It's pretty hot. But yeah, man, I want to get all this fixed so I can get things set up.
A contractor who originally didn't believe in the paranormal enters the house and sees that boxes have been thrown all over the place. The uploader states that these boxes were collected from family and friends to shred and burn in the fireplace and were stacked up neatly prior to the contractor arriving. Then, as the contractor explains that he thinks something is inside the property, as he's been hearing voices and thinks he's seen things, all of a sudden he's pulled by something. Then, as the man is explaining the work he's going to do around the property, when he spins the camera around, we can see an apparition of something which the man claims came out of the basement door.
And also, I watched this full video before not on this show, but the full video of this, and it's like winter time, and there's like a ton of flies in the window, which is kind of like a sign for demonic sort of situation. I don't know. What do you think? Leave a comment below.
Quote, shapeshifted
Lord.
can be seen clearly on
Yeah.
camera. Then later in the video, the apparition mysteriously disappeared. And if you look closely, we can see the door is securely locked from the inside. So just how did this black mass appear here? And just what is it? Let me know what you think this could be down in the comments. Before we move on to number 1, if you love watching scary videos just as much as my current subscribers do, you should join them by subscribing to my channel. I release scary videos every single week, and if scary videos are your thing, make sure you subscribe right now and hit the notification bell to be notified as soon as I upload a new scary video. Crawler.
Number 1.
This next video comes from the Indonesian ghost hunter channel, Lorong Misteri, and what follows is rather creepy. The team venture out to explore an abandoned house in search of anything paranormal. They set up a night vision camera and they attempt to communicate with whatever haunts the abandoned house in absolute darkness. Throughout the video, they capture some strange activity, doors close by themselves, and creepy noises are heard. However, at around 17 minutes in, this happens.
Situ kenapa-napa nih bang? Sebelah itu udah enak bang. Bang.
Oh, bro, happy birthday, bro.
Bukan kagak nih Madi. Bang Hadi. Hei Bang Hadi.
Oh no.
Coba dong. Pantau. Sudah ada orang yang berjalan dari belakang.
Crack.
Bang Hadi. Ada orang yang berjalan.
Ew.
Bang, bang, lari bang.
That's so freaking gross.
Mana sih? Jauh bang, pantaunya. Allah maksudnya. Ini udah redup nih ininya, lampu lightingnya. Bang, buruan bang.
Oh my god. Oh, it just disappears.
As the man is attempting to communicate, a ghostly figure of someone can be seen crawling towards the man. The man can't see it, as it's pitch black, recorded on a night vision camera. The figure then inexplicably vanishes into thin air. Thanks so much for watching.
That was creepy AF. Tell you what, like that last part, like the grudge chick, like crawling out there. Holy shnikes. That's insane. Hello, Sister Sandra. Hello, Travis. Hello, Robert. We had Truzido in here for a bit, and we also had... Who else was in here? UFO Bigfoot guy. UFO Bigfoot guy. It's been a pretty well-eventful night. Like I said, we began with the world's 100 greatest mysteries, strange secrets of the past revealed. Very spooky. We're almost through this book. We got this much left. Not very much. Ancient footprints in stone. I've seen those. Giant footprints. Hey, Jay. Thanks for joining us, brother. Hope you're doing well down there in that Arizona heat. I do not envy you or my sister or anyone else. Like my mom, she's in Nutrioso, Arizona, which is not as bad as Phoenix, but I heard Scottsdale and the surrounding areas, like where Mia's staying, she's like, it's really not that bad. But down in downtown Phoenix, it is fucking hot. Yeah, it's still hot. I know, and Vern and those guys. Okay, so Vern went down to buy a car. He had thousands of dollars because he makes money off of everybody. He went down there to get a car, and they were gonna spend the night in the limousine. And I was just like, no, that ain't gonna happen. But yeah, they tried, and they woke up with sweat pouring down their faces into their eyes, and it made them cry. Pretty sad. Trying to do that. Dang. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Jay, I'm glad you could join us for this little last moment of this. But grab the wrong one. Thank you so much once again for joining me on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Thank you to all of our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, KPNL Radio, Twitter, Spreaker Radio, Twitch, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Anywhere else you're listening beyond the Omniverse. Had a wonderful time. I can't wait to do it again next week. I really don't have anything booked, but I'm going to try to play catch up and get some stuff booked. That way you guys aren't too bored just hanging out with me. Don't forget, you guys, we are all in this together. Together, we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there's no us. Until next time, night, love and light to all my peeps out there. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I hope you don't work too hard this coming week. And I will see you back here. Same crazy ass. Hope you didn't work too hard tonight, Jenny. Thank you again, Sandra. Peace. President. We had Robert, and we also had hey, I'm Rich Girl. I don't know who the crack that is. New person. And then UFO Bigfoot guy. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hope to see you back here next weekend. Bye.